Hello, my friends. It's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. As always, truly appreciate you being here. And folks, I'm sorry. I'm doing a non-Beatles video right now, okay? Forgive me. So if you're one of my Beatles viewers, I appreciate you being here, because usually if I don't post a video that has some type of related nature towards the Beatles, I get very few views, and that's fine. But you know, folks, I love the Beatles, and most of my content, well over 50% of it, is Beatles related, and I appreciate all my fellow Beatle fans out there for watching those videos. But you know, I love other music too, as I'm sure many of you do, and I can't always be pigeonholed into just doing a Beatles video. I want to show you other music that I love and listen to and purchase and enjoy. So that's what I'm doing today, folks, because I have three recent acquisitions, and as they were sitting here in my little pile of what to do with or listen to or whatever, I said, you know, I'm going to do a video about those because they're all kind of related. They're all bands that back in the 70s played in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, New York City, back when it was the Bowery, you know, when it was really the Bowery and it was like a scary place you didn't want to go back then. These bands were playing rock and roll then, back in Lower East Side, Manhattan. And it was a revolution, in my opinion, because you think of all the bands that came out of that. There were so many bands, and I can't name them all. If I had a list, it'd be a mile long of all the different bands that played down at places like CBGB'S and Max's Kansas City and the Palladium and so many other great clubs back in those days. But you had bands like the Ramones, Blondie, the Talking Heads, Television, the Tough Darts, a band that I enjoy as well, and so many others. I know I'm missing so many, and so many national bands played at places like CBGB's, like, you know, the B-52s came in, and even the Police, one of their first gigs in the U.S. was at CBGB's. So, I mean, it's just maybe at the time people didn't recognize it, but when you look back on that era, all these decades later, you go, wow, that was a breeding ground. That was a beginning of a rock and roll revolution in Lower Manhattan back in those days of the 70s. Now, I love these three artists. Two of them have very limited material, and one of them has a ton of material that you can explore. But I'm recommending these three releases. I got them recently, and I'm so happy to have them. Now, the first one's a very obscure band. Many of you may have heard of the second one. Most of you have heard of the third one. But this one, the Poppies. And the album is called Pop Goes the Anthology. Now, who are the Poppies? I'm sure 99% of you are saying. Well, the Poppies, this album, by the way, came out in 2010. They only had a couple of singles out back in the day. So they didn't get a full album like this till like 12 years ago or so. They started like around 1973, you know, and they only lasted till about 1976. That was the weird thing, because the style of music they play, which is that Mersey beat, 60s, British invasion, power pop sound, you know what happened in the later 70s, early 80s. Power pop exploded, and you had bands like the Knack and the Plimsolls and on and on and on that broke through and had major label releases and whatnot. The Poppies broke up before that happened. Like I said, they broke up in late 1976. But they did put out a couple of singles, and they never really had an official release at the time. Now, years later, this came out on Bump, and this includes, you got stuff on here like live cuts, demos, things they were working on, a couple of cover songs. It's not bad. It's really good stuff. I enjoy it. It's a little rough around the edges because a lot of it's demos and live stuff, but you get the two original singles with all four songs. You get a couple of remixes of those songs, and it's just a great, great power pop band. Mersey beat. If you like the Mersey beat, they even do a Beatles cover on here. Love of the Loved is absolutely fabulous. They do the great standard, I Need Your Love, which is fantastic. They do Apache. I mean, it's just a great, great album, folks, and you would love it. Now, two of the members, I know that's Arthur Alexander right there. No, not the old 60s Arthur Alexander that wrote Anna and all that stuff. But this Arthur Alexander and the drummer, I'm not sure which one is the drummer, Jet Harris. After the Poppies broke up, they continued and formed a band called the Sorrows, which was a real mega power pop band that got a couple of major label releases. So check out Sorrows when you get a chance. They're another big band from the later 70s. And I do have their material, but I'm showing recent material. But the Poppies, they didn't last. They didn't have an album at the time, only a couple of singles, as I said. But here it is. They're only like big release. I believe you can get this on CD as well. Pop Goes the Anthology, Mersey Beat, Power Pop. It's fabulous. Get it on Bomp Records. Okay, now the next one I wanted to talk about is the Heartbreakers. No, not the Heartbreakers from Tom Petty. This Heartbreakers. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, but they only had one album. They only put out one release in 1977 called LAMF. Do I need to even really tell you what the MF stands for in there? No, I don't think I'm going to say it. I'll just say it's Leica MF. Okay? That's the name of the album. Leica LAMF. Okay? Enough said? Okay. What a great, great album. This is a rock and roll, call it punk rock if you want, punk rock and roll classic, one-off album by these guys. You had Johnny Thunders and drummer Jerry Nolan, Johnny Thunders being singer, guitarist, songwriter, and drummer Jerry Nolan, who both came over from the New York Dolls with David Johansen and the New York Dolls, early 70s punkish glam band. Well, those two guys formed the Heartbreakers, and they took in with them Billy Rath on bass and Walter Lure on vocals and guitar and songwriting. And they tore up the Lower East Side and they were part of that whole scene down there at CBGB'S. And you get it, the grit, the New York City rock and roll. They were part of it. They were in the mix of it. They lived it. And believe me, they lived it in more ways than one. And so they put out this album, and for years it was horribly mixed. You could never get a decent mix on this thing back in the day, but in recent years, they found new tapes, master tapes and stuff. Here's the back, by the way, with the song listing. And they now have a version called the Found 77 Masters, which I just got on vinyl. I'm sure you can get the CD. This was a record store day essential. And what's cool about it is it's on neon pink and white vinyl. So isn't that cool? Check that out. And it sounds fabulous. So again, the Heartbreakers, they didn't last long. They had some reunions over the years here and there. Johnny Thunders, unfortunately, he died in 1991. Jerry Nolan died in 1992. Several years later, Billy Rath, who was in really poor health, he died in 2014. But Walter Lure, the guitarist, singer, one of the songwriters, he tried to keep it going. He did a lot of shows, especially in Lower East Side Manhattan, up until 2020. And he passed away at the age of 71 in 2020. So rest in peace to Walter. But what a great band. I mean, this band could have been so much more, but unfortunately with, substance abuse and other issues and then breaking up and then reforming and breaking up, it wasn't meant to be. But what's happened now is it's become a classic, a cult classic over the decades, and it's now become an essential piece of rock and roll. If you're into rock and roll, you need to have LAMF by the Heartbreakers. And now it sounds as best as it's ever sounded before. So get it. Okay, so this is a recent one I got. And last but not least, on Sire Records. So who am I talking about? If I'm talking about Sire, no, not Blondie. I'm talking about the Ramones. Road to Ruin, the 40th anniversary edition. This has been out a few years now because the album came out in 1978. However, this is a deluxe Road to Ruin 40th anniversary edition, remastered on vinyl, remastered on CD. You're getting both in this set. It's like a yearbook style booklet. Here's the back. Look at all the material you're getting on this thing. I know you're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to just kind of do my best here. There's the two first disc has the remastered original mix, and also a 40th anniversary revisited mix. All right. And then on the second CD, you're getting a Live at the Palladium, New York City, 1979, so a complete live show from that era. You're getting, on the LP itself, it's the 40th anniversary revisited mix, not the remastered mix, that's only on CD, and the revisited mix. And then the other disc is bonus material, which is rough mixes and 40th anniversary extras. So you're getting a ton of stuff on this, folks. Absolute fabulous. Opens up like a booklet. There's the 3-disc. There's pictures of the guys. You got Johnny, Joey, Dee Dee, and Marky. This was Marky's first album with the band after Tommy left. You're getting a cool little, it's a paper, but it's a booklet. All right. And I'll give you a little gander at that. You're getting, stuff about the band. Where how the album originated, the recording of it, Road to Ruin experience. Just show you a few pages here if you don't mind. Really good top-notch stuff. Great picture there. That's cool because you got 5 of the Ramones here. There's Tommy in the middle, and then Marky, who would be the new drummer. Great picture there. Only a few more here. There's Joey. And then you're getting all the credits, obviously, and stuff. Just a great, great package. They've been doing these for all their albums. I'm still waiting for the next one, which should be end of the century. I don't know when that's coming, but I'm hoping soon. And then the vinyl's on beautiful, heavy vinyl on Sire. And I put the hype sticker. I took the hype sticker off the shrink and stuck it in here so I could save it. Yeah, I was able to do that. So, folks, this is a fabulous album. I mean, it's a 3 CD set, vinyl, little booklet, background. I mean, they've been putting these things out. I have most of them now. I'm still waiting for End of the Century, their 1980 album produced by Phil Spector. Can't wait for that one. I hope it's coming. Does anyone have any word on it? If so, let me know. But that's it, folks. 3 CBGB'S legends. Obviously, the Ramones, so well known. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, a little less known. And the Poppies, probably no one but me knows about them. But great bands from that era. Rock and roll resurgence, rock and roll revolution. That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed seeing these 3 little items. Just some content for you today to look at some stuff. And I hope to see you soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.